But the other half of the plane was really a lot of personal outreach. And, even to this day, when I'm trying to get people to a supper club, I send 750 DMs to get 20 people to show up.
Hey there, it's Marley Majcher. Before we dig in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell because you definitely don't want to miss another glorious disaster here on Every Day's a Train Wreck. Because missing an episode, now that would be a train wreck. Let's get to it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I'm your host, Marley Majcher, and I've got a great guest, Liz Lathan, who is co-founder of Club Ichi events. And she is going to talk all about a subject that if you haven't listened to the podcast with Miss Nicole Matthews, we've done a couple with her, but Nicole heads the Henley Company, is one of my very good longtime friends, and helped Liz with their latest event in New Zealand. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, you might want to listen to it before you listen to this, or your choice. So Liz, welcome to the show. So glad to have you.
Thanks.
And so tell us a little bit about, so you're a co-founder. Tell us a little bit about what Club Ichi does and what your role in it is.
Yeah, Club Ichi, it's just a community. We call ourselves a social club for people in events who do cool stuff and like to talk about it. So it's very much people from all walks of event industry life, primarily B2B, but there's a couple folks that were like city hosts for FIFA and that do some of the B2C stuff. But for the most part, we're talking about events that drive business. And we like to lead with the social club angle because we think that it fosters better connection and real community, and then the business comes later. We kind of joke that we're the reverse mullet. So it's party in the front, business in the back. That's really the way we roll.
Now, where are you guys based?
I'm in Austin, Texas, just north of Austin.
Okay. And is your partner there as well?
She is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So did you guys start this there? Because Nicole made a comment about how there were events in different cities.
So it started back in 2017 with this, what we now call a spontaneous think tank. And so it launched in Austin back then, but at the time, the other Nicole, my co-founder Nicole, was living in San Diego, and that's when she knew Nicole Matthews. They were both there. So,
Got it.
But we did the first event here in Austin, and then we did the second event in San Diego. And at the time, I was still working for IBM. Nicole had her own event company, and we ended up joining forces with some friends to launch an experiential agency, and then rolled that event that we were doing into the agency as just a thing that we did. So it wasn't a community. It wasn't built to be a community. It was a series of events that brought people together in a community way, because it's really all about crowdsourcing the challenges you're trying to solve and then putting people in peer groups to solve those problems together, finding the expertise in the room, and then just running peer-to-peer conversations. So we did that just as kind of an event series as part of the agency we had started from 2017 to 2022. And then Nicole and I she moved to Austin during that time as well. And so we were doing all those things. And that's when the first secret family reunion happened, the precursor to the New Zealand trip that you guys talked about, that Nicole Matthews helped us on the first one as well. So, and the whole intent for this crazy trip, we call it Secret Family Reunion because those little events that we were running in Austin and San Diego, people would tell us, I don't understand how I've been with these people for less than 48 hours and I feel like I have a whole new family. I don't know what you did, right? And so I jokingly said, well, oh my gosh, if we do enough of these, we should have a family reunion. And of course, Nicole was like, well, it should be a secret family reunion and nobody should know where it's going to take place and we could be a whole thing. Next thing you know, we're chartering a plane, telling people to meet us at JFK and bring a passport, telling them nothing else, and then whisking them away to Tuscany for 6 days. So that was in 2019. Then COVID hit and you couldn't do secret trips because people needed to know where they were going, rules, whatever. And so Nicole and I left the agency that we had started, left it with the other friends. They were kind of taking it in a different agency, digital type direction. And so she and I left in 2022 to start a little consultancy that we called the Community Factory. And it was back to the roots of those spontaneous think tanks and to put those inside other people's events. So helping them build community in their events. And so we did that for a year and a half, 2 years. But all those people that used to come to our events started reaching out on LinkedIn going, hey, where'd your community go? We were like, we didn't have a community. What are you talking about?
Right.
They're like, you had a community. I had the t-shirt.
Right.
So
right.
they're like, your company's called the Community Factory. Shouldn't you kind of have a community? So we couldn't bring the old name with us because it lived with the agency. So we kind of
Sure.
had to come up with a new name. And I had heard this Japanese phrase, Ichigo, Ichi-e, which means one moment, one time, which is what we try to create, that unrecapturable moment, that those people, that place, those conversations will never happen again. And Ichi being the Japanese word for one, we pulled that out. We stuck the word club in front of it because if you Google Ichi, you just get a bunch of sushi restaurants.
Right.
So Club Ichi became the thing. And then we finally got past COVID enough to do our next secret trip.
So let's go back a bit for people who are listening to this and who are like, okay, this is a lot. I've never okay, I'm not in the events industry, but this sounds cool. The girl sounds good. Walk us back because I think that's the really important through line that I want to kind of dig into is when you did that very first event, and you kind of told us about it. When you did the very first event, what was the impetus? What kept you or other people up at night? How did you decide who to invite? How did you decide to do it at day or night? Where you did it? Who was included and kind of who wasn't, not meaning specific names, but what was that impetus that said, okay, we're actually going to put forth all this money and effort and do something? What was in your guys' brains?
Yeah, I mean, the idea, like I said, was born at those little think tank things, but it kind of came about, the think tanks themselves came about because we had been going to industry events. And whether you're in events or not in events, you've gone to a conference and you know the formula: keynote, breakout, expo, networking reception over cheese cubes, and music that's too loud to actually talk. When all the people that actually go just want to talk to each other, but we don't build that into the agendas. And so our whole concept was, how do we make an event that is the best part of those, which is the coffee break? We just want an event that's all coffee break.
Got it.
Everyone talking about what they actually want to talk about, not what someone put on a call for paper 6 months beforehand.
Got it.
So that was kind of the original story. And then spontaneous, or the secret family reunion, it was born from that idea of we feel like family. And so we had kind of on that very first one put in a rule of you have to have come to one of our spontaneous think tanks to be in the family.
Yeah.
We loosened it a little bit in the end, but for the most part, we're like, you can't just kind of come in cold. You have to know who we are and our vibe, because this whole thing is an experiment. We've never done it before. We don't know what's going to go right and what's going to go wrong. We've never chartered a plane before. Come be on this ride with us.
Right.
And so people bought into that concept, that idea of, I don't know where I'm going. For some reason, I trust these girls.
Yeah.
And we're just going to see what happens. And I think the real stake in the ground was that business can happen outside the ballroom. So we wanted to prove that you could do an event that was wild and crazy, and it had no audiovisual, no main stage, no expo hall, and still have people connect and do business with each other.
That was the very first event, right?
That was the first secret family.
That's not the trip. That's just like the meeting.
That was the first trip. So the spontaneous think tanks were the events. We had 87 people at the first Austin one. We had closer to 100 at the San Diego one.
Yeah.
And then by the time we did the first secret trip to Tuscany, we had done several more of those think tanks that were around the 75 to 100 person mark. And then the secret trip was 80 people. We chartered a plane. It could hold 80 people. And it was basically, if you're in events, we don't care if you're brand side, supplier side, solopreneur. And we had a beautiful blend of all of those. We had some CEOs of agencies. In fact, I think we had, I want to say it was like 24 CEOs of agencies that were part of it. Yeah, it was. And since then, we kind of had anecdotally tracked over $45 million in business has been done among the people that were on that trip. So proof.
Because what I'm just still stuck on is, how do you have a couple of these events and then you get people to trust you enough to say, I'm going to pay you and I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But so what was at the first event? Was it just literally like, hi, come to a coffee break? Did people pay? How long was it? Did they have an agenda? What were you inviting them to?
Yeah, for the very first think tank, I had some experience running unconferences before, which were structured, unstructured gatherings of how to bring things together. And there's a gentleman in the event industry named Adrian Seeger, who is well known for what he calls participatory conferences. So we hired him in to come to our first one and really facilitate the unconference. And what we were pitching to people was, it's $200, just help us pay the cost of the event. And it's an unconference style format event where we'll be crowdsourcing the challenges. and it will all come from peer-to-peer conversations. So that was,
Sure.
we did the very first couple that we did, we actually put in some workshops on the half
Yeah.
day before for the people that needed approval or needed to know what they were
Yeah,
doing, so they
sure.
could come to those. And then the rest, it was just suggestions of what topics might be. I would say it had an agenda because we knew when stuff was going to happen. We should know
Right.
what the conversations are going to be till everyone got
Totally. Okay.
there.
So
Mhm.
that makes it even more interesting. So you were basically inviting these people cold to say, give
Mhm.
me a day and a half, 2 days.
Mhm.
And here's kind of this agenda,
Mhm.
but it's designed to be the sidebar good stuff that happens over the martinis at normal conferences. We don't know what we're
Mhm.
going to get out of it at these. We've
Mhm.
got somebody who's done this type of stuff before. It's going to help us facilitate. Come on this ride. But how did
Mhm.
you even get who were you even emailing in the first place to get to these 87?
It was fellow event professionals like us. So my background was all corporate events. I led the global event team at Dell, and then I moved to IBM. And so I kind of had my own industry network of suppliers and
Yeah.
people I'd worked with, and friends in the industry. And then
Yeah.
same with my business partner Nicole. She had worked on the agency side doing
Got
in
it.
audiovisual and production, so she had a network too. And then we had one other friend that kind of helped us just pull it all together. And so we were reaching out to our networks, and were able to get 87 people to say yes and fly to Austin. Very few
That's
of them were even local to Austin. Most of them flew in for it. They were down to give it a try. The one piece of feedback we got at the very end was that next time could we have adult size furniture, because it was at the Children's Museum. So we learned from
hilarious.
that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay. Okay. So that was a feedback that you got from the first one. What did you and Nicole, your partner, well, I'm sure you're just blown away with like how well it went, but
Yes.
what was your guys' own wow feedback?
So we do something at the end called a retrospective, where we invite people we're all in one room together, and we invite the people to come up to the microphone, and one microphone is the things they loved about it, and the second microphone is things we should change for next time. So we don't
Oh
want to
my
wait till the
God.
post event survey. We want to know right then and there. And it was fantastic, because when someone did come up to say something not negative but constructive,
Yeah.
someone else would run up to the other mic and give an alternate opinion. And so we really got to hear
Interesting.
stuff, because the way we like to do name badges is first name only. You have to get to know each other as humans before you determine if someone's worth value, like are you a supplier or a buyer. We don't want
Oh,
any of
I
that crap.
love it. So it wasn't like Liz of Dell Computer. It was just
Correct.
you were
Liz.
Liz and you
And
had
then
to
you have to be
figure
like,
it out.
where are you from? You got kids? Where are you? And it was human conversations first. And so we had someone come up to the change mic and suggest at the end, it'd be really nice if we knew who were suppliers and who weren't. And we had like 3 people run to the other mic and go, no, don't change it. This has been amazing.
Interesting. And you know what? I hadn't, by the way, I've never heard of anybody, and I've been in this industry a very long time. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody who has handled it the way you handled it, where like while it's fresh in everybody's minds and kind of while they're not hiding behind that. I mean, anybody can say anything in an anonymous survey, right? But I really like that because you guys could hear in real time and the audience could really react. Obviously, your target audience, because they're still
Right.
sitting in the room, they're happy with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a genius idea.
It was also great because they could actually see the real feedback in action. So as we progressively did the next one, we could announce like this came from the feedback of the last one, and we've made changes.
Oh,
We did our second one at the Children's Museum in San Diego. Look, guys, real chairs.
right. Oh, I love that. Okay. And then did you and your partner have any forget about the feedback that everybody else gave you. Did
Mhm.
you two have any like aha moments that you just kind of shared, maybe like, wow, anything that stood out?
I think it was really the how much people embraced it and needed it, because I feel like we almost, and to this day, well, now it's starting to change now, but I would say over the last 7 years or so, getting what I would call pushback from the establishment
Mm-hmm.
on how, I can't justify going to an event with no topics. I can't get approval to go to this. I don't know who's going to be there or what we're doing. I can't, like, we just would hear that from people. But
Yep.
meanwhile, the other people would continue to come. And we
Right.
realized we're going to find our people. We're like a merry-go-round that's spinning, and you're either going to hop on and spin with us or get flung right off. And that is
Right.
okay.
Right. I love that. Okay. And so then you kind of have the next one. And I'm sorry, how many did you say you had before?
the
And what was
secret
the
trip.
time
Yeah.
frame? Yeah, before you did the secret trip.
Yeah, our very first think tank was May of 2017. And so I would say we probably had done 6 of them by the time of November 2019 when we did the big secret trip. And, I'm not going to lie, we're talking about every day is a train wreck. It wasn't super easy to fill the plane. It was, we sold about half the tickets pretty easily from people who had come to our things and knew us and kind of had, trusted us. But the other half of the plane was really a lot of personal outreach. And, even to this day, when I'm trying to get people to a supper club, I send 750 DMs to get 20 people to show up. So imagine getting someone to spend
This is
$3,000 to
what,
come.
so this is the crack in the sidewalk that I want to go down with you,
Mm-hmm.
because this is the part that I'm always trying to kind of shine the light on, right? And not to say, oh, look, she failed too. Oh, look, but rather to meet the audience where they are, which is, it might look, fast forward, X number of years, to be this perfect, smooth, and from a business perspective, we need to have that. And I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
yours wasn't professional or whatever, but I want to kind of talk about that hustle and the duck paddling under the water to then make it look like, oh, we filled the plane,
Oh, for
because
sure.
that is, I think, the part that's going to inspire people and encourage people if maybe they are in a dip where you can say, hey, yeah, we had dips, but this is
Yeah.
what we did to overcome them. So you mentioned, okay, great. You got kind of half the plane full and you're sort of like, you're probably going, okay, this is cool. This is great. We can do this. And
Mm-hmm.
then what happened? Now you got the other half. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming you signed a contract. You're financially on the hook for that.
Right.
All those things. So
Yeah.
you mentioned, you said sent direct messages, like literally like direct messages from LinkedIn or direct messages like your texts?
All of the above. Anyone and everyone. Asking the people who had already signed up, who do you think should come that we should go
Ah,
after? Asking if anyone wanted to sponsor somebody to come, that they could come with them. Trying to get creative with how we could kind of provide scholarships, but still get it covered. And I
yes.
mean, we tried every angle. And then the week before, because it was a chartered plane,
Yeah.
we could literally fill it with anyone at any time. We didn't have to turn in like we were
Ah.
buying tickets. And so people canceling 2 weeks before and us
Oh
having to
my.
refill, right? Because we didn't think
Oh,
through putting a cancellation clause in it that really had clause. Like it was all these
why
things that
would
were
you?
a first time, right?
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
it was messy. It was messy.
And did you and your partner start to fight? Was somebody
Oh,
like,
never. We've
I
never fought.
told you
No,
so?
no, I
No.
will say, because we were at the agency at the time and we had other agency owners. And so
Yeah.
there were those go, no go moments of, some of the other owners going, is this worth the time and
Right.
the effort and the money we're pouring into this? And how are we going to track anything that comes out of it? And
Right.
what's the point of all this? And so there was a lot of that defending it
Yeah.
internally. And then Nicole was like, stop arguing. We're doing this.
Yeah.
You're not taking it off the table. We
Yeah.
have to do this. And so it was just by brute force to push through and make it all come together.
So the first event, the first out of the country event, and there have been two, right? The
Hmm.
Italy one, and then the one you guys were just on in New Zealand, correct?
Yeah. 2 secret trips. We've
Two
done
secret
many
trips.
other out of country. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, okay, let's talk about that because that part I didn't realize either. I thought that, so you just did your think tanks kind of in the US, but were they the version of the think tanks out of the country, or no, were they?
Yeah, so we do a little retreat. We call it the Barefoot Business Retreat, and
Okay.
we take that one all over. We did the first. Well, we've done them in Texas. We've done them. We chartered a yacht in Croatia and held our conference sessions on giant inflatable unicorns. This year it'll be in Belize. So, but they
Awesome.
are the spontaneous think tank style, but they're small. They're only 20 people and they're not secret. So the whole thing is you got to pay to get yourself wherever we're going. And then the rest of it happens. The secret trip, you just have to get to the meeting point and you don't know where we're going until about 3 hours before the plane takes off.
I love it. And so the other ones that are like the 20 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
How often do you do those?
Annually, every year.
Oh, annually. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when is the Belize one coming up in case?
Yeah, December 7th through 11th. That's Saba Beach Resort.
December 7th through 11th. So that way, because I want to help you promote it. So unless it's sold out already,
Yeah,
right? Can
we only
people
have
still jump in and
three
join?
condo rooms left. So yeah.
Does that mean 3 rooms and you could have 2 girls so it could be 6? Or is it just?
You could. I think they're single bed rooms. So I think there's 10 cabanas. There's a certain number of 2 bedroom, 1 baths, and then I think we have 3 single room condos remaining.
I love it. And what is the agenda for that one?
How we do it. Everybody will arrive, and the very first night we do a big family style meal, bring everyone together, get a little bit
Yeah.
of immersion and Belizean culture, and then we'll do our
Yeah.
spontaneous think tank crowdsourcing. So we use these big giant sticky notes. And we ask everyone
Yeah.
to write down their challenges. We call it the wall of woes. So, what are all the
Yeah.
problems that you'd like to tackle this week? And then from the
Yes.
wall of woes, we ask everyone, if you have expertise in any of these challenges
Yeah.
you see
Love
up there, write your name on it. And
it.
so then Nicole and I will go figure out what the sessions will be for the rest of the week. So generally, when we go to an incredible place like that, we try to do the sessions in the morning and late at night and do activities during the day, because why fly
Right.
people to a beach if you're going to not let them see it? So we'll do our snorkeling or our, golf cart decorating
Yeah.
competition and, all that stuff in the fun daytime.
I love it. And how much does that one cost?
It is 1,700.
So if you do those annually, then what are the people, like, who do the people that go annually, like what percentage of them, give or take, go every single year?
It's a lot of repeat folks, because the folks that went to Croatia, I would say at least half of them came to when we did the following year in Orlando, which many
Wow.
of them had been to our first one in Texas. And then I think when I'm looking at the list for this year, most of them have been on one before. Yeah. So there's been some requests of like, can you do more? Can you drive? I'm like, no,
Yeah,
this
no.
is the one, and you get in or you don't get in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's smart, because that's also protecting your bottom line.
Hmm.
And do you guys, from a business perspective, and don't disclose anything that's like your secret sauce or anything, but from a business perspective, what is your goal with these annual events? Are you looking to have them kind of be this anchor thing that breaks even, but you guys can, keep yourselves in the news, et cetera? Are
Yeah.
you using it as like, oh no, this needs to make us money? Is it a lead generator for something, some other service you guys provide? Like, what's
Right.
the why, other than it's fabulous to do something like that every year? What's the why?
Yeah, so we're a membership community. So we get money or revenue coming in from membership purchases. It's
Mm-hmm.
$350 a year or $32 a month. So that part is monetized, and that's the membership piece. We're at about 750 members now, and it's been growing like crazy over the we just started 2 years ago. So that's been pretty amazing. So I would categorize our events as community events where the
Yeah.
intent is to break even. So we do these things called clubhouses, which are just ancillary. They're basically house parties that we throw
Right.
alongside other industry events where our people already are. We
Got
do
it.
these spontaneous think tanks where we charge $100 if you're a member, just to help us offset the costs. And usually some people will sponsor it, to, again, throwing in just 5K here and there to help us cover the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not doing any targeted lead gen for them or anything. They're just throwing in because they love the community and they want to
Mm-hmm.
be there. And we don't keep their competitors out. They get it. It's a community event. The retreat is this year, it's a little bit more focused on the solopreneurs that are part of our community. So it's like a growth club that we're meeting every month. And then those folks, when they bought into Growth Club, it came with the opportunity to come to the retreat. And then it's supplemented by people that are just buying access to the retreat. So that one, again, is pretty much just break even. So there are these community events that happen because you're part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are the ones that kind of help us run the business. So we do supper clubs, we do behind the scenes experiences, we do these other things that come in from our sponsor organizations, and they want us to fill the room with targets for them. So we
Got it.
want to both provide an incredible opportunity and experience for our members to meet each other and to meet people they want to do business with. And then
Mm-hmm.
our sponsors don't want to be put in a room with people that want to blow them off. They actually want
Right.
qualified conversations. And so we're able to
Right.
make that kind of double-sided marketplace happen. And then we have the big event that's coming up that we're hoping will become our annual. This is the new one, because Secret Family can't happen every year. It takes 2
Yeah.
years to plan that. Is not an easy thing to pull that off. But the one that we think we can do every year is called Happy Camp. And it's our adult summer camp coming August 18th of next year, of 2027.
Got it.
We're taking over a summer camp in the Poconos, and it's going to be freaking epic. Tube socks, rock walls, like all the stuff, s'more stations. It's going to be amazing.
Put me on the list for that one for sure, if not for the Belize one. My God. And then what will be the difference between summer camp and, let's say, the one you're doing in December?
Yeah, the December one is, again, it's small. It's 20 people, super intimate. All the people coming to the Belize one all already know each other. They've been in the community together. They've connected either in the Slack channel or through virtual meetings that we've had,
Mm-hmm.
or in person throughout the year. Whereas Happy Camp is going to be 250 people. It will be a larger group, a huge, just different environment for us. Mostly what we do are micro events because we are very
Mhm.
community driven. We want to do small events that allow people to really get to know each other. So this
Yeah.
will be the biggest one we've ever done. It'll have a
Yeah.
very different vibe. But still, conference sessions, quote unquote, are spontaneous think tank style. So it will still have those moments where we'll sticky note it, during the first night. We'll have
Right.
times for the sessions where people can get together and have their conversations, but just a lot of white space for truly disconnecting to reconnect.
That's great. And I love the whole summer camp act, like the being outside and the activities and just getting out of your head. And the nice thing is when you're climbing a rock wall, I mean, I guess you could have headphones, but you're probably not going to have your phone with you,
Right.
and all these things that just come, it's kind of like, the great thinking that happens being in the shower. What do you think is missing? Like, one of the things Nicole and I, not your partner, Nicole, but Nicole
Mhm.
from the Henley Company and I talked about on the podcast when we were taping one was how she said one venue that relies a lot on fundraisers and stuff had reached out to a bunch of planners and basically like had this luncheon and was like, hey, a lot of these fundraising people are not doing their events regularly like they used to with the paddle
Mhm.
raise and kind of the traditional like nonprofit gala. And I'm not surprised because, I mean, at least for me, I don't have an attention span for that kind of stuff anyway, meaning as an attendee, not saying not,
Mhm.
to plan it, but it really kind of got me thinking. And I'm curious, because like what you're doing is like the opposite of that, right? All that stuff is like planned, prescribed. We've done it for 150 years. But what about what you're doing and it's so different in what's your take on why people are just like, oh, I don't want to go to that kind of stuff anymore?
Yeah, I'm definitely in that camp. I don't want to go to that stuff anymore. I don't go to other people's events if I can help it because they're,
Yeah, they're
I mean,
boring.
they are. And most of the time you can get the content on YouTube anyway. So I'm like,
Right.
just send me the recording and let me, if I'm
I
going to
love it.
fly somewhere, don't lock me into a windowless ballroom and make me sit and listen to someone for 8 hours. Like, let me
Right.
meet the other people that flew out here too. And so
Right.
but that being said, like I'm not anti-education, right? I
Yeah.
think that there is a time and a place to get inspired by a keynote speaker, to have a workshop where you actually work through
Sure.
things and you come home with actual things that you can do in your business. You meet
Right.
some people through the expo, so you're trying to find a new vendor. Like there's a place for all of this stuff.
Yes.
But when
Yes.
it's the same thing, it's like that scene in Big where, he's at the cocktail party and she's like, it's like someone threw a party in 1982 and they just spit it out again and again and again. Like that. That is what our events
Exactly.
are.
Yes. Yes.
Not
I
our
think
events. We don't let our events do
yes, I
that.
get that's like, yes, what other people's events are and what people are reacting to. So what do you think are some of the trends coming up, or what do you think, kind of what are you excited about? And
Mm.
what do you think is really has people excited about events, trends, any of that kind of stuff?
I am excited about what I've been talking about this for 20 years or something, but
Yeah.
I do think it's finally happening. The festivalization of B2B conferences. And,
Got it.
we started to see it with Dreamforce and Oracle Open World, and we did it at Dell World when I ran that one. And it was, you have your keynote breakout expo, but then you allow the proliferation of these other events to happen in the
Mhm.
evenings, and something that you can arrange with the DMC for people to do something local and to just get out there and have those moments that aren't just trapped in the room. I think
Yeah.
when you're trying to trap people there and force all sponsors to be in your space, and
Yeah.
hand slap people for doing other stuff on one of your party nights or something, I just think that it means that you don't have
Yeah.
confidence in the brand gravity that you should be creating. If other
Right.
people want to activate around your event, you should be confident in that. You should know you're bringing the right people in,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you should just make sure that the content you're offering is what they want, so that they either don't go to those, or you create space in the
Right.
agenda to let them, because that's what they really want. So I think
Yeah.
that we're seeing, with South by's got some issues here in Austin just because the convention center's closed. So it's been weird to try to figure out how South by is going to come back to life, which I think this
Mhm.
is the year that they've now figured out, okay, without a convention center, how do we do it? But then I just got to go to Cannes Lions this year for the first time, and truly watching that festival of creativity kind of come to life with an experiential standpoint. It's been well known as an advertising
Yes.
conference. It's where
Yes.
all the ad guys go to give each other awards and pat each other on the back.
Yes. Got it.
But it has truly become an experiential wonderland. They take over the Crescent, the big main road on the beach, and you got Meta Beach and Pinterest Beach and like Snap, like they're all there.
Mhm.
And we see that in Money 2020, and we're starting to see it in more industry events. HLTH, the health conference that I think is kind of taking over what hymns used to be. And
Yeah.
so I think as it gets B2B becomes more consumer focused and becomes
Yes.
more festivalized, I think that's what's going to draw more people back to it.
Yeah. And so we've learned something. In other words, like Coachella taught a lot of people a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I love it. Well, Liz, this has been an amazing talk. How can people find you on Instagram? What's the URL? How do they just find out more about your community?
Yeah. Yeah, come hang with us. We are clubichi.com. I think on Instagram we are Ichi. And I am, of course, on LinkedIn, Liz Lathan. So come play with us. We are for all people in events. We've got right now we're about 40% in-house corporate and association event folks, about 30% solopreneurs, freelancers, about 30% the supplier side, everyone from DJs to florists to agencies to exhibit houses. So it's truly the entire ecosystem of event people. So if you touch events, if you do field events, whatever, it's a fun place to hang.
I love it. I love it. Well, Liz, I can't thank you enough for your time. This has been super inspirational. If you guys are just listening to this on wherever you listen to your podcast, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel at The Profit Goddess, because then you can see Liz's fun background in the back and all her facial expressions and everything that really have made this interview come alive. And I'm Marley at The Party Goddess is my Instagram handle. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Please like it. Most importantly, tell a friend, like a friend who needs just kind of like some inspiration or maybe just a new community. I think Liz's sounds pretty good. So Liz, thank you again. And everybody, we will see you for next week's episode.
Yay,
take care and have a good one.